We are the Transact Campus team. I am Tyler.
I'm Max.
I'm Chad.
I'm Daniel.
So for our problem statement, we want to process location, status, and COVID test data for contact tracing. Contact tracing will be the main focus of this project. We will evaluate data feeds given to us by our sponsor and decide what further information we need to enhance the outcome we desire. To solve this problem, we will start by tracking data from our use case outcomes from campuses around the nation.
So we also have user stories to demonstrate some of our use cases for our contact tracing system. And obviously we plan to have different use cases for both sides of the system, both as a student user and as an administrator. And so as a college student, so that I can better protect myself and family from COVID, I want the system to be able to track my exposure level and allow me to submit any positive test results. And as a college admin, so that I can minimize the likelihood of a COVID outbreak on campus, I want the system to show me a list of students who have tested positive and a heat map of high-risk areas on campus.
So this is our proposed UI. We have like the three different sections. We have the student, professor, and admin. The admin obviously gets the most information with kind of the broad campus exposure over time, the campus heat map, then like specific areas and ways to alert the rest of campus or certain students. The professor gets, personal exposure over time, campus-wide alerts, and their personal like classroom and like any classrooms that they teach in, any like their office or any office hour locations. And then the students get their personal exposure level. They're able to submit their vaccination status so that we can kind of better calibrate the system to get their exposure level. They also get personal exposure level over time, and then campus-wide alerts.
So this is our data architecture. Everything starts from what Transact calls the data lakehouse, which is basically just a big repository full of raw, unfiltered data. Anything from you swipe your card on a door, or you submit a positive COVID test, that's all going to go into the data lakehouse. From there, we obviously have to process that data, figure out if there's any duplicates, what data we need, what data we don't need. And then from there, it's just putting it into the algorithms that we're going to design, specifically for contact tracing, for determining one's exposure level, for determining high-risk areas on campus. And then that, of course, goes into the user interface where the system admin can view the heat map of high-risk areas on campus, and the user can report, or the college student can report positive COVID tests. So here's our progress so far. We've gotten a much clearer definition of our goals and problems than we had at the beginning of the semester. We know what we want to do. We have a loose idea of how we want to do it. We know specifically what data we have. We have good examples of sample data. We know what data we need to simulate. We have defined our UI. We've defined all our functional, security, and performance requirements, and we have a solid plan going into next semester.
So for next semester, we have about 14 weeks. And so we've kind of come up with this PERT chart to kind of simulate what we want to do and, where we want to spend our time. And we tried to make this, given that there's 4 of us, we tried to split this into 4 different streams so that we could try to be as efficient as possible, because 14 weeks isn't that much to do all of this. The kind of basic paths are, the top one is kind of the data side. The one beneath that is algorithms. So we're going to need to have some pretty good algorithm research. We're going to have to research different ways of implementation. We kind of already have some ideas we've discussed, but we're going to try to finalize that. And then we kind of have our testing area where, you know, we need to write tests to make sure that you know, it works. So and then the last after all of it combines, about week 10, we're going to, you know, try to get it working, testing and debugging, and then get the UI so that we get a clean project at the end. Yeah, thank you for listening.